What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to the Blazers Uprise post-game show. The Blazers get blown out tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks by a score 127 to 109. This was a very rough game, and the Blazers could not really get their way back into it after they were down double digits. What's going on, chat? Yes, I'm, a little bit off in my own world right now, so to say. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then that means you don't follow me on Twitter, so you don't get to know. But hope you guys are having a good night. This should be a fun stream despite the blowout loss against the Bucks. We'll break down what went wrong. We'll talk about how the Blazers can't really be all that competitive against a good team. That's something I've been saying, and people have been telling me to be happy with a 4-game winning streak. But this is why I wasn't. You come in tonight, and they get blown out by the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis had a huge game. 47 points for Giannis. Dame had a good game in his own right, but Blazers just couldn't play any defense. And this is why I wasn't buying into the defensive improvement that the Blazers showed against some G League caliber teams, against some bottom feeders in the NBA. You can't base this Blazers defense off of bad teams. You got to base it off of good teams. They played a good team tonight. 127 points they gave up. So, Eric, what are your feelings? We're talking about feelings here. What are your feelings from this game tonight?
My feelings are that, we wanted to see how we were going to match up against a good team. We played a team that was both good at offense and defense, and it absolutely showed that our game plans are lacking. Our defense is not necessarily back. But it's hard to tell when we don't even try anything on defense. It's just weird. And then our offense continues to not move the ball well against good teams. And whether we miss shots or not, it's a common theme that we always miss shots against good teams. So, yeah, it was just it's frustrating that we seem to revert back to playing like dog crap every time we play a good team.
That's a good way to explain it.
Before we go any further, I just want to ask chat, pop quiz time. No one cheated on this. Okay? We played a great defensive game against Detroit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chat, I want you to tell me, who was Detroit's starting point guard in that game? Does anyone know?
Chat, I don't even know the answer to this.
Tori doesn't even know the answer. I asked him before we went on.
I made one guess. I'm not going to say it. I made one guess. It was wrong. So I don't know what the answer to this question is. Even I don't know.
Trevin got it right away.
Did Trevin get it? Oh, of course.
It was Saban Lee, right?
Oh, yeah, it was Saban Lee.
So we look good against Saban Lee, right?
Yeah.
Against whatever the Magic threw out there. I don't even remember who they started at point guard. But, we look good against those teams, right? But, we go against a team that has one of the best players in the league, and it's sometimes a strategy to let the best player get what he wants and shut everyone else down. But we don't even shut the other players down.
Yeah.
So,
it's
we just
neither.
let Giannis go nuts, and Middleton went nuts, and Drew went nuts. So, we choose one of them and at least take them out of the game, please. Don't just let all of them go crazy. It doesn't make any sense. But
yeah, I mean, Giannis always goes off against us. He always goes off against us. We never really have a good plan for Giannis, but if he goes off, at least contest 3-point shots at a better rate, right? Because this is what it should be for me going into this game, right? You should either overhelp and shut him down when he drives, and then if you do that, you'll probably give up some open threes, or you don't provide as much help and he has success when he drives, but at least you're getting out on 3-point shooters. But it was neither. It was we're in between where we're not providing help, but then we're not getting out on 3-point shooters. That's what I felt like this game was. So, I don't know. Just it seems like when we go up against the Bucks, we struggle. We got blown out against them earlier this year. We get blown out against them now. Obviously, Giannis is a great player. But, I don't know. This is what happens when we play an MVP caliber talent, right? You'll get a guy like Giannis who's averaging 29 a game, and he'll go off for 47, and then you'll have the media saying, well, that's why Giannis is, Giannis. That's why, he's just so good. But the thing is, his average is 29 points per game. That's what he normally will score on average if you just play average defense against him. But then he goes off for 47 points, and it's almost like the Blazers media tries to paint that as a usual thing or something to be expected. And that's what I have a problem with just the way this team is covered. It's like, no, giving up 47 to Giannis tonight, that was a problem with us. You cannot give up 47 points to a game and just say, man, well, nothing we could have done. You scored 47 points, whatever. Like, you're doing something wrong if you're giving up 47 points to Giannis, right? This isn't somebody like Curry who's hitting a bunch of super contested 30-footers all game long, right? Now, when we gave up 62 against him earlier this season, there's a lot more we could have done, in my opinion, but you're talking about Giannis who struggles to shoot the ball. So if you provide enough help, if you load up on him, you should be able to hold him to around his average, which is still a high-scoring game, but not 47 points. The problem is we didn't do that. We didn't get out on shooters. We gave up 127 points.
Oh, sorry. I heard during the game our announcers say that the way to stop Giannis is to form a wall around him, but you're not allowed to form a wall unless it's the playoffs for some reason. That was the great analysis on that one.
Wait. Okay, I assume you're paraphrasing. What?
No, I am not paraphrasing. They said that teams like Toronto and Miami in the past have done a good job on Giannis by forming a wall around him, and they literally said, but that was in the playoffs, and you can play different defense in the playoffs. And I was like, what?
Okay, the whole forming a wall thing is just playing pack line defense. You realize that, right? Like, it's just playing pack line defense. Okay, but here's the problem.
We don't have Eric Gordon.
Well, we don't force him middle, right? So, okay, do you guys want clipboard? Yes or no? Do you guys want to get a school session right now?
Before you get to the clipboard, let me just say this. We started off this game with Yusuf Nurkic guarding Giannis. One-on-one, we weren't even giving him help. We had Yusuf Nurkic trying to guard Giannis, and he was giving him space and letting him come right at him and then just reaching in.
And there was no help.
He had horrible stance. He was like slouched over, reaching in. There's no way you're gonna guard Giannis that way with Giannis. When we have Rocco, why would you not put Rocco to start? It makes no sense. And then, so Nurk gets 2 fouls. What do we do? Oh, let's bring in Melo and put Melo on Giannis. Yeah, that'll work.
Bro,
no double team. Just
Eric, man.
Yusuf and Melo, 1-on-1. Yeah, great job, Stotts, you idiot.
I mean, what is Stotts supposed to do, man? Eric, you're always hating on Stotts. Stotts put Melo on him, and then Melo couldn't guard him. Obviously, that's Melo's fault, right?
Right, yeah.
Obviously.
If only we had, guys who were 2 inches taller, we would have been much better.
I mean, Robert Covington, he's just there to shoot threes. He's just there to shoot. You got Melo in there. He's supposed to be able to guard Giannis, and then you put him up against Giannis, and then he struggles. That's not the coach's fault. That's not the coach's fault, man. I mean, Robert Covington is shooting 51% in March, okay? Fantastic shooting numbers, right? Obviously, he's just a spot-up shooter because you can't have a guy that hits threes and also plays defense, right? It's just that's just impossible, So obviously, they had to hide Robert Covington on Brook Lopez and put Nurkic up against Giannis, and you're just searching for ways to hate on Stotts, man.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. It's all personnel, there's nothing we could have done other than guard Giannis with Yusuf Nurkic and Carmelo Anthony in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's just silly, man. You got Robert Covington, man. I don't understand. It's simple.
Derrick Jones played, 11 minutes in this game or something like that?
Did he get hurt?
I don't know if he got hurt, but
if he didn't get hurt...
I don't think he got hurt.
If he didn't get hurt, I don't even know, man. If he didn't get hurt, that's just horrible that he didn't play the second half. So I assume he got, honestly, I don't hope he got hurt, but for Stotts' sake, I hope he got hurt, if you know what I mean. There's no excuse for that. That's just crazy if he didn't play. Hopefully he's not hurt, but if he's not hurt, then why in the world did you not put him out there? He did a decent job. Bro, he did a good job on Giannis last year playing for the Heat. Smog tweeted that out. Smog is a better scout than the who the Blazers have scouting their opponents that they're facing in the future. I don't understand why Derrick Jones Jr. doesn't get a chance. Rocco doesn't start him. It just doesn't make sense. It's just silly. Shout out Chris Stevens for $5 dono. He says, cheers to Tori for being a good sport. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, Chris. Thank you for the dono. Yeah, I don't understand it. It's frustrating when they come out with Nurkic against him, and then they don't help either. I thought the help on Giannis wasn't really there, and then they started over-helping at certain times from the wrong areas of the floor. I don't know. The defense was just discombobulated tonight. I don't even want to try and make sense of it at this point. It's just, whenever we go against Giannis, we don't have a game plan. We don't have a game plan for him. He always crushes us. That's just how it goes, man. It's I don't know. You trade for a Robert Covington, one of the best defenders in the league, could be an all-defensive first-team player, and then you don't put him up against Giannis when Giannis is the starting four and Rocco is the starting four. I don't understand it.
Yeah, and I have to look up this lineup just to make sure I have it right. Let me just make sure I have it right here. So, yes. Okay. So, we're getting blown out, right? Mm-hmm. Not playing well. And this genius, Terry Stotts, puts out a lineup of Dame, CJ, Simons, Melo, and Cantor at the same time, all on the floor. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it didn't make sense,
He had
man.
Powell, Rocco, DJ, all those guys on the bench at the same time. Like, you can't even put one defensive guy in the game to help slow them down. And we got blitzed with that lineup, and our bench couldn't hit a shot. And yeah, that was ball game pretty much right there.
Yep. I don't have the clipboard ready. It's going to take a second. But basically, forming a wall against Giannis is just playing pack line defense. But here's the problem. When you play pack line defense, the help is you're supposed to force a guy middle. And then the help comes from the middle. The help comes from the guy towards the middle of the floor. It's hard to explain without the clipboard. I'll try and set that up. The problem is we were letting Giannis get baseline, and then we're helping one pass away from the corner, which is a much easier kick-out pass and much harder to recover to than if you're stunting at the ball from one pass away towards the middle of the court. Okay? But then other times it would seem like, okay, we're running, some pack line defense, trying to form a wall, helping one pass away, but then the guy guarding the weak side corner would also be sucked into the paint, right? But if you're helping from one pass away, you don't need the guy guarding the corner 3 passes away to be in the key to help, since the help is coming from one pass away. Yet he'd still be there, and then Giannis would basically have his choice of kicking out to one corner or the other. And that's how you get guys like Chris Middleton had a good game. Drew had a good game. They got comfortable. Then they started hitting some tough shots because we let them get comfortable because we have no idea what we're doing defensively. And that's how this game went.
Well, Middleton too, yeah. So he would drive down the paint, but he'd do it on the outside of the paint, and we'd force him that way. And then, like, Dame, one of the plays I was thinking of, like, helps from the corner. All he has to do is pass out wide open 3. And it's like simple basketball like that. If you just force him to the middle, he had 3 guys there to help him, and it would be a much tougher pass to an open shooter. But instead, we help with the wrong guy. We force him the wrong way off the dribble. It's just such little mistakes, and it's every possession. And you cannot have a good defense if you do not game plan to force people to the middle, like you said. And it's just inexcusable. I mean, and we're going to hear this guy, Terry Stotts, in the press conference when he's asked why he didn't double team Giannis. Oh, well, we tried double teaming, and every time we did it, it gave up an open 3. Yeah, because it wasn't double teaming from the right person or in the right manner.
Well, it's like there's no excuse for it, because you should either be taking away the open 3s from other guys or Giannis. One of the two. There's no reason to not be able to take away one of the two. Now, if you take away one of them, the other thing might crush you. And they still might score 120, 125. If you give up open 3s to guys, Chris Middleton's a really good shooter. Drew Holiday has been shooting 39% from 3 this year. So those guys might hit shots, but at least you don't let Giannis go off, and, maybe you avoid some foul trouble, because that's the thing. When you let Giannis get into the paint, he puts you in foul trouble just because of who he is as a slasher. but we didn't take away either. You got to take away one of the two at least. Like, even with poor defensive personnel, you should be able to take away one of the two things just by game planning for it. You either game plan to help hard on Giannis, or you game plan to, okay, well, let Giannis get his, but hopefully nobody else gets theirs, and we can have a chance that way. You can have poor defensive personnel and take away one of the two things just based off the game plan, which is why I have a problem when we don't take away either thing. But pack line defense here, pack line defense, essentially this power forward, you don't want him to let him go this way. Okay, you want to force him to the middle of the floor, and then basically the idea is this guy stunts down, Giannis cuts off Giannis's driving lane. Then if Giannis kicks, this guy can get back out and contest this three, right? Mm-hmm. So you shut down the Giannis drive. The problem with pack line defense is since this guy has to stunt down and help, if this ball gets kicked, it's hard to get back here in time to make this a contested three, so some of these threes might be open, but at least you're shutting down Giannis's drive, which is essentially my whole entire point. You don't let Giannis go off for 47, and then hopefully you can get back here, make this a little uncomfortable, and then if they miss shots too, then you're shutting down both things. If they don't have a hot shooting night, then, they're probably not scoring 110, they're probably scoring less, and then you're probably winning this game if you're Portland. The problem is we're letting him go baseline. We're letting him drive here, letting him go baseline, and then you're helping one pass away from here. Well, this is far more open than
such an easy pass.
Yeah, than what I said before. But also, here's the thing: if this guy drives here, it's a lot. Dames here or whoever is guarding this corner shooter, it's a lot further distance to help going from here to here than if you force him middle. And this guy is going from here to here. Right? That's a shorter distance. So if you're going to help one pass away, you have to force him middle. That is the entire principle of pack line defense. You watch the University of Virginia, their head coach Bennett, I forget Tony Bennett, his dad popularized this defensive scheme. If you're going to help one pass away, you got to force him middle. So the help is coming from here to here. Instead of letting him go baseline, then the help's coming from here all the way down here, and he has all this space. The thing is it's easy to sidestep this too. Or if this help, since he has to help so far, a lot of times it won't even be there in time. So Giannis will just have a drive to the hoop compared to if you're helping middle and this guy can quickly suck down in here and get in front of Giannis.
And one thing we do a lot, in Dame's position there, instead of getting in front and taking away the drive, they'll stand next to him and try to swipe at the ball. Mm-hmm. So it's either a foul and an and one, or he misses and Giannis still gets an open lay-in, like you said, or the kick out's still there if he doesn't have a shot. It's just so frustrating how basic this stuff is, and how, obviously it's not simple stopping Giannis, but when you have a guy like Giannis, you can't make these elementary mistakes. You cannot do it. And we saw tonight, a guy like Giannis will just absolutely murder any kind of defense that has this weak of concepts, schemes, game plans, stuff like that. And that is a coaching problem 100%. And I just don't like the fact that I'm seeing so many people oh, well, we didn't have anyone that could stop Giannis anyway. It's well, okay, so
you stop him with your team defense.
Yeah, we just let him do whatever he wants then? Okay, great. And then in the second half, it's so dumb to CJ a couple times just grabs his jersey or grabs his waist when he's going up for a shot. You're not going to stop him from making it. So you're just giving him an and one, and then so you're giving him 3 free points basically. And it's just so dumb. Just let him dunk it. Get to 2 and don't make it worse by fouling every time just to foul him. You're not even going to stop him from you only foul in those situations if you make sure he's not going to make a shot, which we didn't really do at all.
Yeah. Here's the other problem I have, right? When we do play good, pack line defense, basically, there was a couple times this happened. We force Giannis middle. All right, this guy helps from one pass away. He stunts. And then, sure, this kick is there. But this guy, there's a couple times I saw tonight that this guy stunted and then did a good job of recovering. The problem is this guy will be helping all the way into the paint. So Giannis drives, this guy stunts, and the small forward stunts at the ball gets kicked here, and this guy's all the way in the paint, and then it gets swung corner, it's a wide open corner 3. If you have this guy helping on the drive to cut off the drive, you don't need this guy in the paint. You don't need this guy in the paint because it's this guy's job to cut off the drive and stop him from driving. Okay? Now, if this guy, if Giannis gets past both these guys, now you're kind of in trouble. But at least, you're not giving up open threes and you're kind of letting Giannis get his. That's right back to the theme of taking away one of the two. You're taking away open shooters. Giannis might have a good game if you're not able to get here and stunt correctly. Well, the problem is, we'll have both guys. It's just not how you're supposed to play the scheme. You'll have this guy stunt down on the ball when Giannis is driving. It'll get kicked here, and this guy will be all the way in the paint, and then it'll just get swung, and it's a wide open three. Now, that's good ball movement, which, that's the type of situation where I just laugh at people saying ball movement doesn't help you and doesn't help you get better shots because obviously the quick swing, that's an open three, okay? Or, the quick swing, if this guy is running out, because he has so much ground to cover, this guy's running hard, it's just an easy baseline drive. So that was kind of where our defense went wrong tonight. Clipboard version.
Yep. Let's get a couple donations real quick. Maurice Fenton with the €5 donation says, can't wait to get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs just to celebrate the end of Stotts. I obviously don't want the Blazers to lose in the first round. I want them to contend for a title. If they happen to lose in the first round, I hope that's the silver lining in it. But yeah, I'm not going to root for them to lose just so we fire the coach. I want them to do well in spite of him. I'd much rather win with him than lose without him and waste another year. But that would be a nice bonus of getting knocked out of the first round, I guess.
I mean, that's a silver line. I don't want him to get... Just figure things out, please. That's all I want. I don't want Stotts gone if he's able to figure things out. I just want this team to play good defense, to play smart defense, to run the right defensive schemes, and to run a better offense. That's what I want. I don't care who the coach is, just as long as we do those things. So it's not a thing with Stotts specifically where, it's a personal thing and I don't like him and just it doesn't matter if he runs things how I want him. I just want him gone, right? I just want things done the right way. Mm-hmm. No matter who it is. Okay, it's not a personal vendetta that I have against him at all, whatsoever. And you have the people that defend him that act like it's this whole personal thing and this whole personal vendetta, and they take it like personally that somebody doesn't like Terry Stotts, which is just ridiculous. But no, just figure things out. He's proven to me that he can't really coach defense at a high enough level to be able to be competitive against good teams. Now, obviously, we've had some questionable defensive personnel, but it's far deeper than that, right? We get Nurkic back. We bring in Norman Powell, who's a better defender than Trent is at this time. And we have 3 games against a G League Magic team, against the Raptors without Lowry, who have been playing terrible basketball other than tonight when they just randomly beat the Warriors by 53 points.
Killed them, yeah.
Yeah, and we play the Pistons. And you have people on Twitter say, people were acting like, Yusuf Nurkic wasn't going to help our defense. Well, having Nurkic back will help our defense a little bit, but we're also playing bottom feeder teams. What happens when we go up against the good teams? That's what I want to see. That's how I will judge our defense, because I'm holding these guys to a contention level standard. So if they're terrible defensively against contenders, they are terrible defensively. It doesn't matter what they do against the bottom feeders. They're not going to play the bottom feeders in the playoffs. What matters is what they're doing against playoff teams, because what matters is the playoffs for this team. They should make the playoffs. They're in playoff positioning. So I'm going to gauge these guys against playoff teams. Every time they go up against a playoff team, they struggle defensively. And it doesn't matter who they have. And everybody wanted to make it out like it was a personnel issue when we didn't have Nurkic and CJ, but they forgot how when we did have them before both those guys got hurt, we still couldn't play a lick of defense, especially against good teams. Okay, now you get Nurkic back, and you got CJ. I don't know how he helps the defense, but honestly, he's been okay-ish defensively this season. He's been a little bit underrated, but regardless, you get both those guys back. Again, the first good team we play, we give up 127 points and 47 points to Giannis. I mean, I don't see any improvement. Just because we had 3 good games against bottom feeders, I don't think that's improvement, because it's just we're playing against bottom feeders. So, I mean, it's just I don't buy stock in our defense improving right now. I haven't seen anything to suggest it's improving, because I don't care what they do against bottom feeders, and then they play a good team like Milwaukee and they give up 127 points.
Here's the problem. We've heard this time and time again. oh, we just need to play harder. We just need to like get our guys back. We just need to like keep this. We need to play like we're a top 10 defense instead of playing like a bottom 30 defense or whatever. All those things don't equate to playing better defense. Yeah, effort level will help your defense, but like you need a game plan. You need schemes to change. You need to do other things. You can't just do the same thing that has gotten you to the worst defense and the second worst defense of all time, and then just think it's magically going to get better because we have Nurkic back and players are playing harder or want to be a better defense. Like, you have to game plan to get them to be better on defense. And we've heard from this coach, like, what did you do to fix the defense in the last 6 minutes of this game against the Pelicans? Oh, I don't know. I didn't say anything. They just kind of played better. Like, what do you need to do to fix your offense when you struggle? Oh, it'll figure itself out. What do you need to do to fix the defense? Well, we're getting Nurk back, and we don't need to be aggressive or anything. We just, play our conservative style, and it'll get better just based on having better players on the floor or whatever. It's like, it's so lazy, and we don't do anything to address what's actually happening. It's just like we're all of a sudden magically going to get better for some reason, and it's worked out in the past where we get a use of Nurkic in a trade, and he comes in, and all of a sudden we're a good defense because he just provides a different look than what the defenses are used to seeing against us. But that can't just happen every year where we just magically get better. Occasionally, it's going to not work like it didn't last year, and it's not looking like it's going to work this year again.
Yeah, I mean, I just want this team to play defense, man. Like, my frustration comes from the viewpoint of, I just want this team to play defense, because offensively they should be a top 3 offense in the league. Now, we faced an easy schedule, but I felt like tonight kind of also exposed, running an isolation heavy offense. This team is not comfortable offensively running an isolation heavy offense against a good defense. Dame had a great game. Dame played phenomenal tonight. What he was able to do against the way Milwaukee was guarding him was phenomenal, but this team never gets in a rhythm playing the style of basketball they do. If they move the ball, run in transition, manufacture good shots off of ball movement and off of good set action, then this team can build a rhythm offensively against any team in the NBA and have a good offensive outing against any team in the NBA. But when we run ISO offense against a good defense, it becomes, oh, well, we just missed shots. Well, yes, we missed shots, but I think it's more than just a coincidence that we seem to always miss shots against good defenses. Obviously, good defenses are going to be better, but I think it's more than that. I don't think we get quality shots against good defenses. I don't think we consistently got quality shot attempts tonight. Dame hit some insanely tough shots tonight. So, but I don't know. I lost my train of thought there. I was going to talk about the defense, and I ended up talking about the offense. But I don't know. Eric.
Here's the thing. Reese sent me this awesome graph. It was basically a graph. One side you have offensive rating, and on the bottom you have defensive rating, right? And then it's against every team against teams that are over I don't know why it was 530% winning percentage, or 53% winning percentage. But he sent me this graph, right? Mm-hmm. We're dead last in the NBA against 53% teams or better winning percentage wise, and that's so. You can say, well, of course we're going to be bad defensively against good teams, right? But that means every team in the league, even the worst teams in the league, are better than us defensively against the good teams. That makes no sense at all to me. You're saying Portland has the worst personnel in the league and they can't be better than worse defensively? There's not a single team worse than us personnel-wise that could do better against good teams? That makes no sense, and that is absolutely 100% on this coaching staff for not teaching defense the right way, not coming up with game plans consistently that shut down or at least limit some of these teams from getting into their comfort zone. And then you see these guys just get comfortable hitting wide open shots at the beginning of the game, and then of course they're going to hit tough shots later on when their defense clamps up because they're in rhythm and they've seen the ball go in so many times. It's just frustrating to me because We are not the worst defensive team in the league. We should not be anywhere close to that. We should be at least 20th, if not a little better than that, in my opinion. And that just makes no sense. But on top of that, so our offense, we're 5th right now, right, in overall offensive rating.
Yes.
It falls. I think it's kind of hard to tell with the graph, but we're somewhere either 7th or 8th, depending on which team is ahead between the team with us. But so we're worse offensively again. So there's a couple teams that are better than us against the good teams. So basically, what that shows is that we play a style that is not conducive to winning against good teams.
Yeah, here let me try and explain that away. Like I get what you're saying. Basically, our performance regresses more against good teams than normal, right? Because when you're playing a good team, obviously your performance isn't going to be as good since it's more of a challenge as a good team. But our performance regresses more than most teams when we play against good teams.
And that should equal it out. So like every team should struggle against better teams, right? So it should still, if you're comparing all 30 teams, it should still be somewhat close. And this is what we talk about in the playoffs the whole time. So like last year we have the best defense in the bubble, but our offense in the playoffs is one of the worst offenses out of the 16 teams left in the playoffs. We're not playing a style that wins against good teams. And I'm sending you the thing. I don't even maybe share it on the thing I sent you in Discord if you want to look at it. But yeah, it's just it's so frustrating. And it's not because we lost. I mean, whatever. Like we shouldn't have won this game. Probably we weren't favored to win. But it's just frustrating that we just don't seem to like have anything worth like building upon, at least defensively, in this game. After hopefully we were trending in the right direction, beating these worse off teams and playing well against them defensively. It's a situation where you wanted to see some new concepts now that we have better personnel. And I mean, we could talk about some of the additions or the addition we made today, how that might factor in, and maybe once we get Nas back, it might be a little different. But those two guys, I don't think are going to play that much.
Man, so I can't wait. I can't wait to see Rondae Hollis Jefferson playing isolation basketball offensively.
Yeah,
that sounds thrilling. I mean, obviously, if you put a lineup out there with Norman Powell, Robert Covington, Derrick Jones Jr., Rondae Hollis Jefferson, like defensively, that should be a top 5 defense in the league. Like I want to see that lineup just to see how they are defensively. Obviously, offensively, it's probably going to be a major struggle, but defensively, it's not like Stotts doesn't have defenders. He has defenders, man. Gordon, I do not dance on command, bro.
Reese also sent me, shout out to Reese again, a comparison of Rondae Hollis Jefferson last year to Aaron Gordon this year. And Rondae Hollis Jefferson advanced stats severely favor Rondae Hollis Jefferson as being a better player than Aaron Gordon. So no one who likes Aaron Gordon will ever believe that. But
okay, even I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have some similar quality. Rondae Hollis Jefferson, underrated playmaker, better defender than Aaron Gordon, right? The issue is he can't hit a shot. Aaron Gordon isn't a good 3-point shooter, but he can like knock down a shot. You know, he's a 33% career 3-point shooter. Rondae Hollis Jefferson is far below that. You know, if Rondae Hollis Jefferson could shoot, he would be better than Aaron Gordon, in my opinion, 1,000%. The problem is he just can't shoot. That's kind of been his issue.
Well, much like Aaron Gordon, what kind of offense would he thrive in? Rondae Hollis Jefferson.
A Denver Nuggets type of offense.
Yeah, one where you're maybe getting out, leaking in fast break style occasionally, and cutting to the basket, and a good passer like Jokic is finding you. The only thing I'm hopeful for with Rondae Hollis Jefferson is he knows he cannot make threes, so he shoots less than 1 a game. So I am just hoping beyond hope that he just he refuses to spot up in the corner and just stand there, and he cuts to the basket and we get some open looks that way, because he just refuses to just stand there because he knows he's not going to shoot it even if he gets it. So hopefully that is the case, and that's the only thing I can take as maybe a positive of signing a guy like that who doesn't shoot, is like he's kind of like Ben Simmons where he won't shoot even if he's open usually. But yeah.
Yep.
But we can now put, when Nas is healthy, we can put a lineup of Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, Derek Jones, Nas, Rocco, and Nurk when we like need a stop at the end of a game or something. And there's no excuses. You have 5 guys that are all plus defenders. There's no way we should not see that lineup at times when we need a spot. All but Nurk in those lineups would be switchable. You could sub Nurk for another wing or something if you want to make it 100% switchable. But there's just no excuse for not having at least the ability situationally to make stops and to have a lineup when we need a stop out there that's 100% defensive oriented instead of, Dame and CJ and Melo and all these Cantor all in the game when we need a stop on the last possession or whatever. And even though it's worked for us somehow several times this season, it's not like a smart way to play basketball.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah,
I don't know what Austin's talking about in the chat. Yeah, Austin, you're tripping. All right, so what else basketball-wise, man? This seems like such a normal stream. Like, we could do this in our sleep, bro.
See, one thing that drives me crazy is we're running pick and roll, and it was almost always with whoever Giannis was guarding. So even if we get the switch, it's like Dame having to go on Giannis, and yeah, he can go by him sometimes, but like you're talking about like Drew Holiday and Giannis, 2 of the best defenders, and we're bringing Giannis to Dame to set a pick and roll and just welcoming those 2 guys to defend Dame. And Dame still had a good game anyways, which is says a lot about him. But I just don't understand why we would screen with those guys instead of whoever like Brook Lopez is guarding or something like that. It just makes no sense to me how we're like seemingly searching out Giannis to attack him on defense.
I mean, I don't know. The Blazers play a good team, and it's just like nothing makes sense to me. That's how it works. Sorry, I'm reading chat and I'm like starting to say something, then I'm getting distracted by what's being said in chat. I mean, this wasn't a fun game whatsoever. I don't know. It was a fun game for reasons other than the game, but it wasn't a fun game in itself. It was. I don't know. Just, can we beat a good team, please? I mean, that's basically the point I'm at now. You got OKC tomorrow.
Or can we not, like, get down by 20 and just, like... I mean, we made a couple runs. I can't believe we got it to 3 and then, yeah.
That's why we have a negative point differential, even though we're 10 games above 500. Every time we go against a good team. Or almost every time we go against a good team, we get blown out.
Unless the Sixers, like CJ.
Unless it's the Sixers, yeah. I mean, the most impressive win other than Philly in 2021 is against Dallas. Okay? We're in April. Our best win other than Philly this entire year. Right? Notice how I didn't say season. Okay, just this entire year is against Dallas. I mean... Everybody's saying, be happy with our record. They're doing amazing considering they had guys out and they're still 29 and 18, 29 and 19. So you should just be happy with their record. Bro, nothing they've done is amazing to me other than the fact that they beat Philly without Dame. That's the only game where I was like, wow, I can't believe we won that game. Other than that, sure, Philadelphia at home when we had Dame and they had Simmons back for that game. Sure, that's like a good win. But, I mean, maybe you could point to that game. But we match up good with Philly. So, other than that, it's just like nothing has made me say, oh, this team is overachieving. Mm-hmm. There's been multiple games where I've thought they've underachieved. When they blew a 20-point lead against the Bulls, when they lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder without SGA. I didn't think they had SGA in that game, but we lost to them at home. There's been more games where I felt like the Blazers have underachieved than there are games where I felt like they've overachieved. The thing is, they've had a really easy schedule so far this season. That's why they're able to be 10 games above 500 right now, sitting at 29 and 19. But as I've always said, wait until the second half of the season when the schedule starts to get tough. Well, we go on a 4-game winning streak against poor teams. Cool. Okay, a lot of people are happy with that. Sure, I'm happy that we won 4 games on a road trip. Cool, that's great. Okay, but what happens when we start facing the good teams? We face a good team, lose by 18. Okay, now we got the Oklahoma City Thunder next. That's a game we should win. But then after that, we got the Clippers and the Jazz. Okay, what's going to happen when we face them? That's what I want to know. That's what I'm basing this team's performances off of, not what they do against G League teams. Okay, that's just it comes back to that, and everybody wants to scream, "We're negative, Eric," since we're not thrilled with their record and their 4-game winning streak against bottom feeders. Well, I'd be thrilled and super positive if we start doing work against good teams, but we haven't done that at all this year. So that's what it's going to come down to, since I hold this team to a higher standard than most.
So someone asked earlier while we're on the subject what our record is against above 500 teams, and we are 8-11.
8-11.
Yep. Of the top 7 teams in the West, we're the only team with a losing, the Lakers are now a losing team because they've lost some recently. So 4 of those wins are against Dallas twice, who, by the way, we had a back-to-back against them, not consecutive nights, but we played them once and then had a day off and then played them again. They made adjustments, blew us out of the water the second time we played them. But if you take away the 2 games against them and the 2 games against Philadelphia, we're 4-10 against everyone else above 500. And that includes beating the Heat, who are a game over 500 without Jimmy Butler, beating the Hawks earlier in the season, and beating the Hornets. So that's 3 of those 4 wins. I'm forgetting who the other win is against. Oh, the Lakers. We beat the Lakers once, which was a good win. So yeah, I'd say one of those 4 out of 14 games wins was legit in my mind. The other ones are kind of questionable. So it's kind of crazy how bad we've been against good teams for the most part. If you take those 2 teams out of it.
Yep. So,
and once Atlanta or Miami or Charlotte fall below 500 again, that's going to look a lot worse.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Questions in chat. Hit me with them. Did we miss a dono?
Yeah, we missed a couple.
No, we missed a dono? Oh, no. Can we... Oh, I can't even see them. Because I was going to say, we read off the $5 dono, but it says I have $12 in donos. So, sorry if we missed your dono. Is there a way to go back and see them? Who left the donos, man? That's unfortunate. I hate how YouTube does it where we can't, scroll up in chat past a certain point.
Whoever it was, I can't think of who it was. I read it. One was, crap. I forgot him now. If you made a dono, there was 2 of them we missed. I had it scrolled up to that point, and it just, when I tried to look, it went back to the end of the chat.
Yeah. If anybody doesn't know, we are.
It was Blue Diamond.
Oh, hell yeah!
Had
let's
one
go.
for $2.
Mm-hmm. What they say?
And I don't remember what he said. So he's in chat still. So just repeat what you said, and I'll read it off. And then I'm sorry, I'm not sure who the other one was, but.
Okay, so I posted a tweet that said if I get 150 likes and 50 retweets, I'll do a drunk stream today. Okay? For some reason, I didn't think it would succeed, and it easily succeeded. Next time, I'm probably going to do double it. I don't know, bro. I guess I just got more clout than I think. I don't know. I didn't think it would work. But, yeah, so, been drinking them.
Oh, yeah.
Been drinking, some lemonade. Nothing. It's just normal lemonade, right? But yeah. So apologies if the stream is, a little weird. But you guys asked for this, so I'm not the one to blame. But that's why we missed the donos, because we're just off on a tangent right now because of maybe it's a little bit of the lemonade speaking.
So he said Thunder have 5 starters out tomorrow. I haven't looked. But he said they lost tonight, got their butts kicked by Phoenix. What's the score going to be? I expect us
a lot to
win,
a little,
but hopefully it'll probably be very close game, and we'll have to pull out some heroics at the end. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but yeah,
I think we blow them out. And then everybody's saying, "See, why was everybody so negative last night?" And then we go up against
Milwaukee. We're not gonna be.
And then we go up against the Clippers and the Jazz. And then it's a rough going. That's how it's gonna go, in my opinion.
Yeah, and for the record, I didn't want Torrey to be alone, so I started.
Yeah, I didn't make Eric do anything. Eric was like halfway through, so I'm drinking too. I'm like, oh no, you need to be sober to run the stream to keep it on track. And then but Eric wanted to make it so I wasn't alone, on an island with this. So shout out to Eric. Maybe I don't know this. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm just losing track of my thoughts now. I've been doing a great job, I think, of making points, and you've been doing a great job. I mean, our analysis is still top notch, but it's just a little.
I think I'm just yelling a little more than normal, but
I mean, everybody loves that. So, yeah, we'll take questions. Let's just take questions in chat for like 5 minutes. All right? Does that sound good, chat? We'll just take questions from chat for 5 minutes. Then we'll go like around the NBA. We'll talk about like individual performances. I don't got the graphics for you guys. You guys can't expect that out of me tonight. But we will talk about like individual players. But I want to take your guys' questions because we don't really do that. We don't really dedicate a whole segment of time towards chat. So we're gonna do that right now. What is Rondae Hollis Jefferson's role going to be on this team? Honestly, Reese, I don't think he plays. Eric, do you disagree, or what do you think his role is going to be?
I don't think he should play, except for, like I said, maybe situationally when we need a defensive lineup out there. I wouldn't have a problem with that. If we'd actually run with our second unit, I would say maybe he could get some minutes with the second unit, and they could, push the pace a little bit and exploit some of that advantage athletically with Derek Jones and Anthony Simons and Rodney Hollis Jefferson, all guys who would thrive, I think.
Did you just say Rodney Hollis Jefferson?
Rondae Hollis Jefferson, sorry. And then, all guys who would be really good in a fast tempo pace offense. But I have no confidence that we would do that. So since Rondae Hollis Jefferson will just be spotted up in the quarter, I expect him to at some point earn a starting spot and shoot 5 threes a game and hit like 10% of them, but us continuing to keep throwing in the ball in the corner because I'm just kidding. But no, I don't expect him to play, and honestly, I'd rather play Nas over him. If healthy, I think Nas deserves a chance to prove that he's not capable of those minutes before just giving those minutes to someone else. But yeah, so I don't know what you feel about it.
I mean, I don't think.
I don't hate this.
I just don't think he'll play. I just don't think he'll play. Sam Stone says drunk me is better than sober me, and that's honestly kind of disappointing. Yeah,
it's just, I don't know. We have a fun vibe going, I think. So
it's a compliment. It's a backhanded compliment, man. It's a backhanded one, man. I guess I gotta mesh the two. I think that's like the perfect blend, I guess. I don't know. If Torrey says surface level, then we can all take a shot and get on Torrey's level. That's the first time I've said surface level today because I haven't said it yet. But yeah, I mean the surface. Okay, here's what I tweeted out. I want your thoughts on this, Eric. So every time we face a good team, right? You have all these analysts saying, "Oh, well, their strengths are just too much to overcome." But when I watch this team play, we play into other teams' strengths. And then you have all these people say, well, their strengths are too much for us, but we play into them. I don't have like a good example right now. I can't think that deeply right now. I'm kind of on the surface, but like, it's like, how do I explain it? Do you kind of get what I'm saying with that? Does that make sense without an example?
Well, yeah. I mean, we talked about the perfect example is starting Jusuf Nurkic in this game on Giannis, and us basically letting him do whatever he wants, getting Nurkic into foul trouble, and then like we didn't have a chance at that point, right? So, like that's a actual decision Stotts made to put Nurkic on Giannis that affected this entire game. So right from the beginning, Giannis gets going. I think he had like 8 points in the first few minutes, and like so that was all Stotts. Like there's no excuse for that level of incompetence, and he obviously knew it was the wrong decision because after that stretch he didn't put Nurkic on him again, other than when he got switched on him, you know. So in the second half he comes out with Rocco on him, but Rocco was like got caught helping a lot or whatever, but he was already like playing so well that it, like, you know, this when you shoot and you score a bunch like early on, the basket gets bigger and bigger as the game goes on. The more shots you make in a row, you know. It's called being in the zone, and we let him get in the zone, and he gets to the basket, so it's not even really hard for him when he's in the zone. He just has to throw the ball basically at the hoop, and it goes in almost every time. And he draws fouls, and he travels sometimes and gets away with it, but not every time. But it's frustrating to me that was our plan. It wasn't to like throw a double team at him. It wasn't to like force him like to the middle like you said. It was just, let's put Nurkic and see what happens. Like that was our whole game plan. Like, let's see if Nurkic can stop him. And let's just leave Nurkic like 10 feet behind him so he can drive right at him and like draw a foul and then make the shot anyway. Like it makes no sense at all. Like yeah. And that's what drives me crazy is like people will say, well, what did you want him to do? Well, I wanted him to put our best defenders on him, like a Rocco or a Derrick Jones, like at least see what those guys can do to stop him. And then, you help off of, they're a hard team to help off of, but like at least those guys would be less of a chance that you have to help. Or, if he is successful when you're dropping that far off of him at getting to the paint and scoring, why don't you double team him up top then before he drives and stuff like that? And it just doesn't make sense to me that our schemes are so bad that we just the people that blame personnel aren't like understanding or even wanting to understand why it's this way every time we play like a dynamic player. And there's going to be games where Giannis goes off against the defense no matter what defense you made. But like we made no attempt to even try to stop him, and that's just like perplexing to me.
Yep. So Shervin says, are we having a celebration stream with fireworks when Stotts gets fired? Yes, I will light fireworks inside my room. That's a promise.
Yeah. Bonnie wanted to know what I was drinking. I'm drinking rum and Coke.
Oh, yeah. Eric's going hard. Okay, this is the first time I've been, like, even remotely drunk at all in, like, 3 years. So, yeah, it's kind of trippy for me.
Yeah,
I'm drinking the soft stuff.
I drank a little bit. I wasn't, like, super drunk, but I drank a little bit 49ers Super Bowl. So that was, a little over a year ago?
Yeah.
And before that, I don't remember the last time I was drunk. Not that I don't have a problem with drinking or whatever, but yeah, it was kind of fun tonight to have that
this was the right game for it, to be honest. Yeah. 24 hours straight. Yeah, honestly, never 20. Okay, the trade deadline streams and free agency streams, Leo, were like so taxing mentally, and those are only like 5, 6, 7 hours. I couldn't imagine doing a 24-hour stream. That's insane. That's crazy. I couldn't. That's too much. What was I drinking? I just been Mike's all night, man. Been Mike's.
Belvin said Dame in his post game said this is maybe the second time we lost to a really good team by a wide spread.
Boy, you haven't been facing really good teams. That's the thing. That's, okay, so that narrative, you got to couple it with, we haven't really been playing really good teams either, so our success hasn't really been worthwhile either. Like, you can't that's a cherry-picking statement.
Yeah. Well, we got blown out by Utah opening night. We lost the recent Dallas game. We got blown out. We got blown out by Milwaukee.
But they're not. Dallas isn't a really good team, so it doesn't count.
Milwaukee. There's 2 times just against Milwaukee we've got blown out.
Yeah. We got blown out by Phoenix by 32. We got blown out by Milwaukee earlier this season by 28.
We got blown out by the Knicks. I guess they're not a good team. We got blown out by the Pacers.
We got blown out by freaking Indiana by,
we lost by like
24. We lost to San Antonio by 21. We lost to the Clippers by 23. We lost to the Jazz by 20. Yeah, no, somebody fact check him, man. If I was a reporter...
Clippers, we got blown out by the Clippers early in the season.
Yep. I would say, Dame, you guys lost by 20 to Utah, 23 to the Clippers, 24 to the Pacers, 21 to the Spurs, 28 to Milwaukee, 32 to Phoenix, and then tonight you lost by 18 to Milwaukee. That seems like more than 2 games to me. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, like, it's just not true. It's just not true. It's not a true statement. From Dame.
Yep, lost by 15 to Golden
40
State. 40
to Dallas. I didn't even mention that. Like, yeah, I mean, it's just not a true statement. It's just false.
It's frustrating. We got blown up by Washington at home.
We've had 7 losses this year, Eric. Worse than this. I mean, come on. There's a reason we have a negative point differential, even though we're 10 games above 500.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So, obviously a loss is a loss, a win is a win, but I don't know. It's not encouraging. It's not If we came out tonight and we lose in overtime, I'm much, much more encouraged than this, because it would have shown progress. We got blown out by Milwaukee earlier this season, and then we get Nurkic back, CJ back, and then we take him to OT instead of losing by 28. Yeah, that's progress. But no, we lose by 18. I mean, it doesn't show much progress to me. So I would be much more encouraged if this game was competitive, but it wasn't. That's the issue. We're not competitive against the best. Like, we were competitive against Denver, but they were missing a ton of guys. Against the top teams in the league, we struggle to be competitive. It's not encouraging for a team that's trying to contend. If you struggle in the regular season to be competitive against good teams, it's not encouraging.
Yep. I still haven't seen the other dono comments. I'm sorry if I missed it.
Apologies to whoever else left that dono.
Yeah, we can after the stream's over.
I wish I could look at like a log. I wish I could look at a log of donos. Like, YouTube needs to add stuff to their streaming capabilities. I should be able to create a poll that people can answer that just sits at the top of chat where people can pick what to vote for. That'd be great for picks against the spread. And you'll be able to just look at the donations that have been left in just a log. Like, there are features that shouldn't be absent from YouTube streaming capabilities that are. And I don't know. They need to improve it. They need to, because there's no reason. It's YouTube. It's a Google ran company. There's no reason for it to be like that.
Yeah. LaMelo's GOAT, I promised him I'd answer this question earlier.
Okay.
So he asked me if we were back to square one after this loss. I said no, and he asked me why I think we're not back to square one.
What does square one even mean, though?
Well, it means back to having to start over or whatever. But this is how we play, so it's not any different than where we were last week. It's just we played teams that we can beat playing this way. So it didn't where we are at in terms of if you're talking about a staircase, like 2 steps forward, 1 step forward, 2 steps back or whatever, we're in the same spot we always are. We just can't get up on this any higher on the stairs. And every time we beat the lower teams, we stay where we're at in the middle of the stairs. But so yeah, is not a case of we fell all the way down the stairs. We'll still beat OKC tomorrow, hopefully, and we'll still beat the bad team. So it's not. We're still 10 games above 500, so we're not completely out of the realm of being able to climb that staircase, maybe. But until we start doing things differently, I don't think we're going to get higher than the point we're at either.
I don't think either of us should be on stairs right now, Eric. That's a very dangerous conversation.
Oh, I'm good. Actually, I need a refill. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Solo stream time. So goodbye. Yeah, give me your questions. Or whatnot. I was not prepared for Eric to just dip out like that. Eric, why don't you think we're back to score? He just answered your question, LaMelo GOAT. James says media was overhyping our 4-0 road trip as expected. It was crappy teams. I don't care if it hadn't happened in 8 years. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If we played a hard schedule the first half of the season, we're not sitting at 29-19. We're sitting at 500 at best. You know, that's why it's just the surface level casual stuff that I always talk about, where people will just say, we're 29-19, so Stotts has automatically done a good job, and they don't take into account Dame's heroics to win very close games that could have been lost if we just had one possession go wrong. They don't take into account the quality of teams we face. They don't take a bunch of stuff into account. The only way they'll take outside random factors into account is if it supports their argument, but they'll ignore anything that doesn't work for their argument. I try and take everything into account and make my analysis that way, and this is the result of that. I get frustrated with that because you got a lot of people that just cherry pick certain things to make their argument, and that's it. You know, I've been saying all year, I want to see this against a good team. We haven't beat quality teams. We have an easy first half schedule. Okay, we have some success against an easy first half schedule, and everybody wants to freak out and throw a parade already. I don't get it. It's I don't get how people don't take into account the quality of opponent. Just it doesn't make sense to me. If we start winning games against teams like the Milwaukee Bucks, Utah Jazz, Los Angeles Clippers, then my tune will change. But the thing is, to beat those teams, we got to play a better style of basketball. We got to play better defensively. Our offense can't be so ISO and pick and roll heavy to consistently beat those teams. Okay? So if we do end up beating those teams, it'll be because things have changed for the better and we're seeing more of what I want to see in terms of the style of play. That's how I feel about it. Nick says, who is your dream coach for Dame and the Blazers? Mark Few would be terrific, but I'm a Gonzaga fan, so I don't want him to be the head coach of the Blazers. I want him to stay at Gonzaga. But just watching my Gonzaga Bulldogs play and then watching the Blazers play, the style of play is just night and day different. It's crazy. If we get Brad Stevens as coach, do you think that would be a good fit? I mean, I don't watch the Celtics enough to really judge him on a educated level. Right? I hate how people who like Stotts will try and say, look at what the Celtics are doing this year. They suck. Everybody loved Brad Stevens, yada, yada. They don't know what they're talking about. Brad Stevens obviously isn't a good coach. Look at his talent and look at their record. Right? I don't like making arguments based off record or surface level stuff. So I'm not going to sit here and say Stevens would be a great coach. I just haven't watched them enough. Now, the Celtics have something like an 11-19 record in the clutch. So if they were 19-11, they'd be sitting here 15 games above 500, right? If they were as successful as we were in the clutch. But the thing is, they don't have Damian Lillard. So that kind of shows why I feel like Dame has saved Stotts' butt a lot of times so far this season. You can't, the difference between us and the Boston Celtics is we've played an easier schedule. We have Damian Lillard, so we're a good clutch team. And it's just a few possessions in the clutch. That are the difference between us being 10 games above 500 and the Celtics sitting around 500. That is the difference. You know, none of that is really stuff you can blame on Brad Stevens or things that you can use to support Stotts, in my opinion. But yet people will try and make that comparison based on those things to try and say Stotts is good and Stevens is bad. But it's all just stuff on the surface without the proper context that I just laid out. So that's why, the whole, when people want to try and defend Stotts with just saying, look at what the Celtics are doing. They're doing bad, and everybody likes Brad Stevens. See, he's not that good of a coach. That whole argument is just ridiculous. I can't make a judgment on a coach unless I regularly watch the team. Now, I regularly watch the Blazers, obviously, so I can make an educated judgment on the way the Blazers are coached. As far as the Celtics, I really can't. You know, a lot of people like Brad Stevens. He's had a lot of success. You know, this year is kind of an outlier, it seems like. But, I don't know for sure. I don't watch them consistently enough to make an educated judgment. But, I mean, just, fair question. Great question, honestly. Would Brad Stevens be a good target? I mean, I'd welcome him. 100% would welcome him as a replacement over Stotts, but it's just I can't sit here and say, oh, he's 100% a good coach because I don't watch him regularly enough, and I get on people for making statements about coaches of a team that they don't even watch. Because a lot of people try and make statements that a certain coach is bad to defend Stotts, but they'll be saying a coach is bad when they don't even watch that coach's team play. They'll just look at ESPN.com and try and make their basis that way, and I hate that.
Let me get the dono before I respond to that. So Andrew Miller, $5 dono says, "Hey guys, cracking a beer for the stream. Hey, cheers, man, cheers. How do you think you guys would react if the news broke that Stotts is fired right now? Cheers." Yeah, we talked about this earlier. Tori would stream and we'd celebrate, and not because we want the man to lose his job or whatever, but I feel like he's had ample opportunity to prove himself as a coach. This is one thing. So transitioning back to Stevens, in the NBA nowadays, I believe you have to have coaches that make adjustments. One scheme does not work. We're seeing that with Stevens, that he's not really doing a lot of things different this year, and they're struggling. And so I'd be worried that he's too reliant on his schemes, much like Stotts, and he's not willing to budge off of those very much. You see Budenholzer this year, we've talked about this leading up to the game, where they ran a ton of drop scheme, and it killed them the last 2 years in the playoffs especially. And so you've seen them earlier in the year, they struggled because they were actually doing different things on defense. And, you know, Dame still made some tough shots or whatever, but they weren't just dropping completely off of him much this game. And they're going to be much more prepared in the playoffs, I believe, this year than they have in previous years, especially since they have a guy like Drew Holiday, too, as well, who's really good on defense. So I think it's the point where you either have to game plan and adjust like Budenholzer seems to be doing this year, or you're going to be left behind like it seems like Stotts and Stevens are. But I will preface that by saying it's an outlier situation to me, unless it's proven differently in following years, because like you look at Nick Nurse, right? He wins a championship. You can say, oh, well, he had Kawhi Leonard or whatever. But the following year, he doesn't have Kawhi. They're the second seed in the East when no one would have predicted that heading into the season. So obviously the dude can coach. And then you come into the season with COVID and all that kind of stuff. And he got COVID. He missed several games. Right when they started to get back on track, they had a huge COVID issue with missing a lot of their starters and stuff like that. So you just don't know if this is an outlier season with him or not. Same with Brad Stevens. He's had great success the last few years, has been, I don't know if you want to say exposed, because he got like to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So I don't know how exposed he got, but they don't have a lot of good down the stretch things. You mentioned their clutch record. I think it's because they solely rely on someone like Tatum to make tough shots, and you know he has normal efficiency in those situations versus Dame, who still has like insane, like better than anyone could ever predict, like basically the greatest numbers of all time in clutch situations this year. So like that, it could simply be that is the difference between having a good record and then not having any of these question marks. But yeah, I don't know. I would have to talk to Stevens in a meeting and ask him like what he's doing to combat these kind of things. And if I didn't like his answers, if he was like, well, my offense will work, it just needs to be executed properly, or it just needs to, like, they just need some time to figure it out or integrate it or get in sync or whatever, I wouldn't like those answers, and I would not hire anyone who had those kind of answers.
Yep. I don't know. There's some more questions in there if you want to answer any. Isaac says you're using big words. you need to use words that Isaac can understand, man.
I'm sorry, Isaac. So Nick says, who would I hire if I was to choose? And it's tough for me because I would interview I would have, a huge list of interviewees, and I would say, um, like, I would present a scenario like Dame's getting trapped against the Pelicans in 2018. Tell me how you would game plan to combat that. And if their answer is, oh, let's just run pick and roll at half court instead of the 3-point line, I would say, get the frick out of my office. Like, you're not getting hired, you're right? Like stupid. So I don't know if you saw these stats the other day, but this year, Damian Lillard is the all-time leader in percentage of pick and rolls blitzed against him. So when he runs pick and roll, he's getting blitzed in pick and rolls more than any other time in league history or since that's been tracked. I forgot how long it's been. And then on top of that, the point of where we set the pick is higher or further away from the basket than any team in league history as well. So not only is he getting not only is he getting trapped more, but we're letting him get trapped further and further from the basket. It makes no sense to me.
Yep. So Atit, sorry if I mispronounced your name, but Atit says, do you think playing better teams on a continuous basis will help us get better defensively? I mean, theoretically it should. Theoretically it should, but I don't know, we'll play good teams and struggle. A lot of times we're not running the right things defensively, and if we don't learn from that, which we don't seem to do, if we don't learn from that, we're probably not going to improve. A lot of the issues against good teams is you have to come out with a top-notch game plan schematically, and we don't. And we'll do that consistently. Like, we have a hard, schedule the rest of the way for the most part. I don't expect things to change schematically because they haven't for the past few years. It's generally been the same. They've mixed it up a little bit more this season, but not enough and not in the right times and situations. So it's hard to say things will improve by facing good teams because it doesn't seem like the Blazers really take anything as a learning experience out of those games. They'll say they do. They'll say, oh, we'll watch the film and find out what we need to improve, and we'll improve it, but it doesn't really come to fruition on the court. So I'd have to lean towards it. Playing good teams consistently wouldn't really make a difference.
Yeah, so, I mean, Tori and I are big proponents of doing multiple different things. Instead of having like one base defense that you try against every team, you should be running like 2 or 3 different defenses at a team throughout every game and trying to find ones that work best against certain teams or against certain style of players, because not every player is the same, but a Trae Young might be similar in the way you guard a Steph Curry or something like that. So you're trying to look for things that would work in other matchups. But we just basically run a base defense that we try to make work against every team, and then just like, oh, well, we just have to play better on defense. And then, like I said earlier, it's just going to magically get better or something. So I don't think I don't think it matters the competition we play, other than it looks bad when we play good teams and it looks good when we play bad teams. So the only positive you could say about playing a bunch of good teams when we lose is this isn't working. But we've seen it now for 2 years be just horrendous defensively, and them not really doing anything schematically to change that, or they just think it's going to figure itself out. So, like, I agree with you. I don't think it matters in the long run, as long as our coaches aren't game planning specifically. But then you see like a random game like against Houston last year where we throw a diamond and one out there, and we literally defend hard and better than any team that entire season and completely take him out of the game. I think he had like under 20 points one of those games. But it's obvious we can do it. Right? Like, we could design a game plan to stop Giannis tonight, maybe, or to at least slow him down or take him out of the game. But no, we just let him get whatever he wants, and we let the rest of the team shoot wide open shots the entire game as well. And it's just, it's frustrating to me because like I don't see it being any different. And then we get to a Western Conference Finals where our defense gets torched in game one, so we switch it up, but those guys aren't used to playing that, so it's a second slow, and a guy like Draymond Green and Steph Curry will just abuse that, as would any good team in the playoffs. So unless we start practicing these things now, I don't think it's ever going to matter once we get to the playoffs, unless we just flat out outscore teams. But we've seen our offense also be lesser in the playoffs, so that's not very hopeful either. So I don't know. It's just frustrating.
Yep. Let me see here. I got some questions, but I posted a mailbag prompt, so you can ask your questions with the mailbag prompt in the community tab that I posted 5 days ago. I said mailbag question for tomorrow, leave them here. I said that 5 days ago. I haven't dropped that yet. I just, honestly, I don't know. Decide to wait, not on purpose or anything, but so I will try and upload that tomorrow or the next day. So if you have any questions that are unanswered, go to the community tab of the channel and post them there. I got 28, so it might be I'll have to rapid fire answer them. Normally I take my time on mailbags, but I got 28 questions, so I might not be able to include them all. So apologies if I miss yours, but I will try and do my best. Yeah, so I know there's definitely some questions that will go unanswered in here. That's just a way you can get them answered in a mailbag.
Strider says, if you heard Jody Allen was watching, what would you say to her?
We lost to a good team again. Fire Stotts. Nothing I'm going to say to her is going to affect anything, so I wouldn't say anything. Stotts isn't the answer. We're last in assists, and we're near the bottom in defense, and he can't coach a defense, and our offense is very basic. And if we hired a coach that knew how to coach defense and knew how to be more creative offensively, we could win a championship. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I would say, okay, so obviously we're not firing Stotts right now, but I would tell her to question why we have not brought in someone with full control to take over the defense when this guy obviously does not know how to coach defense or what to do on that end. What are we waiting for? Why are we wasting time? If you want to be satisfied with the offense, like we've talked about many times, why we're not satisfied with that either, even though it's good technically rating wise. But on defense, you've seen now his schemes do not work. So bring in someone and let them take over the defense. And if Stotts has a problem with that, just tell him, well, why was it okay for Rick Carlisle to do that with you and Dwayne Casey in Dallas, but you're not willing to do that with your own team? Why are you being stubborn when it comes to that? Why won't you get this shot since you've had one of the worst defenses in the league the last 2 seasons? Why are you not willing to bring in someone to do that? And there's plenty of guys out there available right this second that could come in, and you just give them control of the defense. We still have enough time in the season to maybe fix some of these things before the playoffs. But so I would ask that they, at least if they're not going to make a change with the coach, at least bring in someone right now that could make a difference and give them control of the defense, and just bring in a new set of eyes, and don't let Stotts interfere with that.
Yep. Let's talk about just some of the performances tonight. Dame, 32 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 7 for 19 from the field, 5 for 10 from the 3-point line. Great, efficient night for Dame, especially considering he was just being hounded and double-teamed all game long. Very impressive. Rocco had 18 points and 7 rebounds. Didn't have a steal or a block, which is rare for him. He was 6 for 11 from the 3-point line. Did not shoot a 2-point shot, but 6 for 11 from the 3-point line. Great shooting night from him. CJ was 7 for 16 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3. He had 18 points and 7 assists. Not a bad offensive game from him whatsoever, if you take into account these 7 assists. Also had 3 steals. Norman Powell was 5 for 15, 2 for 7. We need to do a better job of getting him open shots. He has to kind of force his way into the offense and force some tough looks in order to get the amount of shots he should be getting.
I will say I liked he had at least 2 drives tonight where he kicked out to an open shooter. I know. I think one of them was in that stretch at the beginning of the game where Rocco shot her first like 5 shots, all threes. But he had one like late in the second half. I really liked that. But yeah, just got to find a way to get this guy some shots, man, and not like forcing shots, but some open corner threes or something. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yep. In 21 minutes, Nurkic had 9 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, was 2 for 7 from the field, 1 for 1 from the 3-point line. So he's struggling to finish inside the arc. He's just kind of showing some finesse and flipping up some stuff that he should take stronger to the rim. But, I mean, he was starting to play a little bit stronger in terms of how he was trying to finish before he got hurt. I'm hoping that with some time, he'll kind of get back to that. Obviously, this is only his 4th game, and he's still on a minutes restriction, so feel like gotta be patient with him as far as like finishing. But he's come back, and I think he's hit a 3 in 3 straight games now. He's come back a shooter. It's nice to see him knocking down wide open threes. It's promising. Obviously it's a small sample size, so we have to wait and see on if this is going to be a consistent thing. But if he could add a 3-point shot, it makes him a harder guy to guard because he can pass from the 3-point line as well. He had 3 assists in 21 minutes, which is nice to see. If he's playing, around 30, hopefully that's 5. He should be averaging 5 assists a game, in my opinion. We need to run offense through him. It makes us much harder to guard. But obviously still on a minutes restriction, still kind of getting a feel back. So I'm kind of withholding judgment on him.
Yeah, I thought second half he was better. I liked that. He missed the dunk in the first half, but he tried to go up with authority. Second half, he actually finished it. That was a nice dunk. But I thought the first quarter tonight was one of the worst quarters of his for the entire season. Like I said, he was kind of slouched over. He wasn't really in a good defensive stance, and he was reaching instead of trying to stay straight up when Giannis drove.
He shouldn't have been matched up against Giannis, though.
Because he shouldn't have been put in that situation by our coaches. But I just thought he kind of, like, the slouchiness kind of seemed like his body language, though, like on both ends. It kind of seemed like he was, I don't know if mopey's the right word, but it just didn't seem like he had that same fire he's shown in the last 2 games. And probably getting abused by Giannis had something to do with that.
I bet if he played for Nick Nurse, though, that wouldn't be anywhere near as much of a problem.
Yeah, I'm guessing no. But yeah, so I'd like to see more intense rogue Nurk doing, like, because honestly, in the last few games, he's been all over the floor, and even though he makes some mistakes, you can tell, like, effort-wise, he's given us all out there tonight. I thought he was a little slow out there, a little sluggish, and I hope that's just a case of him having such a tough matchup.
Yep. Other than him, Melo was terrible tonight. He was 2 for 12 from the field, 2 for 7 from the 3-point line, had 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 fouls. He couldn't buy a shot. He had 2 wide open threes in a row, could have kind of got us back into the game, and he almost airballed both of them.
You mean hairballed?
He almost hairballed both of them. Was not good tonight, defensively, offensively, in any area. That's just the truth. He struggled. He struggled, and he's okay, Eric. He was shooting the ball great in March. I'm kind of worried that he's slipping back into one of those lulls where he is just not effective for this team for like a whole 2 weeks.
Yeah, this is probably outside of that nice backdoor pass to CJ. This is probably his worst game. Definitely his worst game in the last couple months, but maybe even his worst game of the season. And yeah, as people are pointing out in the chat, Black Boy was not in here tonight, or at least I did not see him.
Somebody said Black Boy even wanted Melo to get benched, where if Black Boy wanted Melo to get benched, that's how you know it was bad. Because I didn't even know that was possible.
Actually, let me bring up his...
Black Boy is our resident Melo fan, by the way, if anybody doesn't know.
Yeah, let me bring up his tweet.
Okay, I'll go through the rest of the guys and then while you find that. Derek Jones Jr. only played 11 minutes. I'm curious to see what the deal was with him. He had 2 points. Canner only had 2 points in 14 minutes. He didn't play much. Had 6 rebounds, though, in those 14 minutes. Simons had 8 points, 2 for 5 from the three-point line in 18 minutes. That was basically the box score for the Blazers. Giannis has 47 and 12. Drew Holiday has 22 points, 10 assists. Chris Middleton has 20 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. He almost had a triple-double. Those 3 guys were the only 3 players in double digits for the Bucks, but that's their big 3, and they went off tonight.
Yep. So, okay, here we go. Jesus, Mello, even I can't defend this with the facepalm emoji. Then, man, sit Mello down. Yeah, I said it.
Hey, at least he can be objective. Yeah. Okay, there we go, then, man. I mean, yeah, he was struggling to. Actually, wait, I should pull Block Boy on. Block Boy, quit hating on my guy, Mello. Mello is a Hall of Famer and a legend. How dare you say that he should sit, man?
And then he quote tweeted someone doing the Let It Rain gif from Along Came Polly. And he says, I can't even front Mello, my guy, but this is hilarious and accurate with him, like, throwing a shot up and barely hitting backboard.
Yeah.
And then Carmelo, I guess, moved up to 16th all-time in field goals made tonight. And boy, but it's tough posting this with the game my guy has tonight, but it is what it is. Yep.
Man,
at least he's being honest.
Yep. Respect for that. I didn't know that was possible. So, I mean, yeah, the dude struggled tonight. If he plays like how he did in March, he's going to help this team. The problem is I'm worried, like, that's not sustainable for him at this point in his career. That's what I'm worried about. And then if he has more games like tonight, he's just hurting the team. So, I don't know. Hopefully it's an outlier, but, I mean, we've seen him struggle like this for an extended period of time earlier this season, and then he had that hot streak. I don't think that hot streak is the rule. I think that hot streak might be more of the outlier at this point in his career than the rule. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If he's getting open shots and he's missing that badly consistently, then yeah, we could have that conversation, I think, a little more. But as of right now, I think I don't know. I still have confidence in him if he gets open threes not to miss that badly. I don't think he's that bad of a shooter. So hopefully this was just a bad game from him. And once again, like we talked about with Nurk, you know, you put him on Giannis and have to play him, use all that energy trying to guard Giannis on the other end. This is the kind of stuff that happens. You don't have the energy on offense either, and we don't get good shots. So.
Yep. So we were saying we were going to watch the Terry Stotts interview tonight, Eric. It is not up on YouTube.
Oh, man.
Unfortunately. Yeah, so I don't know. Probably going to wrap up the stream soon.
I want to drink more.
I mean, you can drink more afterwards. I'm not stopping you. Next Saturday, we play the Pistons. I might make another tweet. I might make it 250 likes and 75 retweets instead. See if you guys can clear that bar, and then we might do it again on. I'll get a little bit more drunk for that one. I'm kind of coming down right now, but I've still been trying to keep myself, right, so to say. But anything else you want to touch on from this game, Eric?
No, I'm having trouble finding anything.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a rough game. I mean, we got the Thunder next, so we'll have a post-game show tomorrow, a sober post-game show for you guys. Hopefully we're talking about a win in that one. Yeah. I mean, it's the same talking points. It's the same stuff. So, we drank tonight, make it a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more fun for you guys, hopefully. But, I mean, it's just the middle of the season, and same performances against good teams. I will be hype if we beat a good team, man. I can't wait for that post-game show where we actually beat a good team, where we actually play some defense, and we run some decent offense and have a good game. That post-game stream will be fun. More fun than any post-game stream since we beat the Philadelphia 76ers, all right? So that is the, we're just waiting on that. We're waiting on that type of performance from the Blazers. Sadly, we didn't get it tonight. Hopefully it comes at some point this season.
And Cameron Weaver says, are we going to have to be drunk to enjoy the rest of this Blazer season. Man, I hope not. As fun as it has been drinking tonight, I hope this is not.
We should just make this a regular thing where it's like not a big deal.
I'm watching the game and I'm just like, oh god, I need a drink. I do not want to get to that point. I'm not much of a drinker, so yeah.
Yeah, we just need to make this a regular thing, so that's like not a big deal. It's just the way it is, with the way this team plays, man. But I mean, you got another game tomorrow. Quick turnaround against a bad team. They better beat the Thunder tomorrow. 100% better beat the Thunder. If not, that's disappointing. Then you'll have sober rants tomorrow if we lose to the Thunder. That team is trying to tank at this point. So the Blazers don't take care of business tonight, but they got a quick turnaround tomorrow.
For the record, though, this Thunder team plays hard. You can't take them lightly. I mean, they give a lot of effort. And,
they give a lot of effort. By the way, they lost to the Suns by 37 points today.
Yeah.
I mean,
they don't get blown out a lot, though.
But they're sitting Al Horford now for the rest of the season. Okay. Like, I don't know. It's almost like they transitioned into tanking mode after the deadline.
Listen to this. Okay, so you just mentioned Horford's out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Austin Rivers, they cut. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, out. He's out till mid-April. So no SGA tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
Lou Dort is in the concussion protocol. Did not play tonight and remains out indefinitely. So if he didn't play tonight on a back-to-back, chances are he is not suiting up tomorrow with the concussion. That would be probably too short of a turnaround to get cleared. So most likely no Dort tomorrow night. I think Baisley is last I saw he was tonight. More week to week than day to day. And that was like a couple weeks ago. So I think he's still out for a while. And then you had Mike Muscala not play tonight either, who killed us in one of the games against the Thunder earlier in the season.
Do you want to hear the starting lineup that they started tonight and will likely start tomorrow night?
Yes, I would love to. Please.
T.O. Maledon at point guard. Okay, this is going point guard to center. T.O. Maledon at point guard. Svi Mikhailuk at shooting guard. Alexej Pokusevski at small forward. Isaiah Roby at power forward. And Moses Brown at center. We better not lose tomorrow. Off the bench, they had Tony Bradley play 24 minutes. They had Kenrick Williams play 23 minutes. They had Josh Hall play 23 minutes. Ty Jerome played 18 minutes. Justin Jackson had 15 points on 5 for 8 shooting and only played 12 minutes. Josh Hall got double the minutes of Justin Jackson. I don't even really know who Josh Hall is. That's such a basic name, and he's on a two-way. Yeah, but Justin Jackson was killing it today. He had 15 points in 12 minutes. Only plays 12 minutes. They play Josh Hall double that, 23 minutes. He goes over 4 plays, scores 2 points. So they're not even playing the best players at this point. They're playing... It's like they're trying to tank. I see this. Justin Jackson scores 15 points in 12 minutes. Josh Hall scores 2 points in 23 minutes. They are both listed as small forwards. They're not trying to play the better players at this point. They are trying to tank. I bet you their coach has gotten the directive to try and lose games at this point. So they got outscored 43-13 in the first quarter. After the first quarter, they were down 30 to the Suns. So we better not lose tomorrow night against this Thunder team. This better be a relaxing game, man.
Yeah, it's there's no excuses personnel-wise tomorrow. I do not want to hear a single person talk about it. And I also don't want to hear anything about Moses Brown, like, oh, he's only good because he's getting an opportunity or whatever, if he drops 20 and 20 on us tomorrow night. Like, no, we just didn't bother bringing him back, so... it's he's probably going to have a big game, and someone like Svi is going to hit like 8 threes on us, and we're going to have Dame hit some threes at the end to win by like 4, and I hope it shouldn't be that case. This is absolutely a team that we should improve our defensive rating on. There's no excuse, I think, if we don't. Chug.
No, I'm not chugging it. So I don't know. Hopefully a fun stream tomorrow night for you guys on the Saturday night. hopefully everybody's doing well. Hopefully your guys' weekend is off to a good start despite the loss. Honestly, I used to like have a terrible night the rest of the night if the Blazers lose. Now it's just like it doesn't really affect my mood in general. So happy for that. This streaming definitely helps with that.
I'll be with a good point real quick. Instead of Moses Brown, we got Keljin Blevins. All
Hey,
right.
that's just a phenomenal.
Hey, did you see that 8-foot air ball? Keljin drove into the middle of the paint and then airballed.
Bro, I saw that and it's like, why am I not out there, man? Oh yeah, I'm not Dame's cousin. Bro, come on, man. Come on. Put me out there. Let's see how that looks. If you're going to put Blevins out there, put me out there, man. Honestly, I need to fake a relation to Dame somehow. All right, that's the easiest path for me to the NBA. I gotta fake a relation to Dame. Obviously, I'm not gonna be good enough. I just gotta fake a relation to Dame, and then I'll be an NBA player because that's how it worked for Blevins, man. That dude comes in and airballs an 8-footer by like 3 feet. Yikes. Shout out Gray Hughes Investigates for the $10
What's up,
dono.
Gray Hughes?
Gray says, keep on trucking. Appreciate it, Gray. You're always very supportive, and it means a lot. So I appreciate the dono, man. Hope you're having a good night. Malcolm says Tory Lillard. Man, just call me Tory Blevins because Blevins' name is related to Lillard, and if my last name was Blevins, I would be in the NBA missing front rim on 8-footers instead of airballing them. So, yeah, I don't know. It just... How's that guy on a two-way, man? That's just crazy. Not even trying to hate, but bro, somebody said I averaged more points per game in college than Blevins did. So I mean there's my case right there.
Hey, on a positive note, I just got a text from the Portland Basketball League saying, starting next week, full court 5-on-5 mask mandatory in Vancouver, your neck of the woods. Leagues are starting, so maybe not too far away from getting back into.
We might have
basketball.
to. Yeah, I mean, my rec league isn't coming back soon because the hours are only to 8 p.m. at my gym. But if they're starting that up in Vancouver, I might have to hop in on that, man. I am rusty against defense, but I mean, we gotta get on the same team. Content around that would be dope, but somebody would have to film it. I don't know. I've been enjoying going to the gym playing basketball lately, though.
Oh my God, Zach. Good night last night for picks against the spread for everyone except for Zach.
Yeah, that was tragic for him, man. He was on a good run, too.
Did you read Zach's comment?
I mean, I just put him in a 5-minute timeout, so yes, I read Zach's comment. Anyway, thank you for all of those who tuned in tonight. Appreciate your guys' support and you guys making us a part of your Friday night. We will catch you again with the quick turnaround tomorrow. If you don't follow us on Twitter, at Tory Jones YT for me, at Hoopshock for Eric, at Blazers Uprise YT for the channel. We appreciate your guys' just sense of community on Twitter, because we definitely have a community on that platform and it's fun to participate in. Other than that, make sure you subscribe to our second channel, Blazers Uprise Live, in the description below. Thank you to everybody who donated. Sorry for the person who we missed your dono earlier tonight. If you're watching this somehow,
and shout them out tomorrow night.
Yep, that's actually a good plan. So yeah, thank you guys for making this a fun night despite the loss. We'll see if the Blazers can turn things around against a G League team tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And still have like 130 people watching, 77 likes if you don't mind helping out the channel and leaving us a like, since we got 4 people who don't like drunk Eric and Tori tonight. So.
Man, we always have the haters that leave the dislikes, like the guy that thought that, I ain't even going to go into any of it.
Danny Meringue and Eric Griffith come in every chat
and somebody raging about HIPAA. That too.
Oh yeah.
Blazer Tay 2K is gone, man. Assuming that's the same person. Maybe it's not. If it's not, that's just real awkward. But he hasn't been in here, and he was always in here, and then we had that thing with HIPAA. So, I mean, there's probably a bunch of people watching this right now saying, what in the world are you guys talking about? You don't need to know. We ain't even going to go there.
I got a bunch of DMs and then blocked from that guy on Twitter.
Oh, man. People, it's just... I'm not even getting into it. We're just going to wrap up this stream. So, anyway, thank you for tuning in tonight. We will catch you tomorrow. Thank you for all the support you give to the channel. It means a ton out here in this hostile climate against all the Blazer media and all those people that hate on us and all that. Your support means a lot. So anyway, anything you want to end off with, Eric?
No. Just please win tomorrow night.
Yep. Sam, we had an argument on HIPAA. Look up HIPAA if you don't know what it means. And my mom was a nurse for a decade, so I know what it is. And there's just I'm not gonna go more into it. We're not gonna go more into it. That's just there's a whole argument on that on a previous stream. It was ridiculous. So. Yep. Anyway.
But this doesn't have to do with HIPAA, but so Mike Richmond posted a picture with it looked like that Moda Center, they were setting up a ton of hand sanitizing stations and also setting up social distancing at the concession stands. He said that was different from the last time he walked through there. So it looks like maybe in the near future we might have it probably won't be a lot, but a couple thousand fans in attendance sprayed out throughout the arena. So that looks like we might have a return to live fans in the arena sometime soon.
Yep. Anyway, thank you to LaMelo, who says, well, apparently LaMelo loves me, so I love you too, LaMelo. Appreciate it. Thank you for all your support. We will catch you tomorrow night. Hopefully you can tune in. If not, I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. So until we recap that Thunder game, we will see you later. As always, peace out. Go Blazers.